Hi and welcome to another video from what I'm now calling the Veteran Fitness channel. And coffee, good stuff, and from a self-propelled Sumi mug as well if they want to sell me any free goods, which I very doubt they do. And Stephen Cummings, he does other YouTube videos, really good ones, and he's trying to convince me to have bulletproof coffee. So I might feature that at some point in the future. It might even be a bulletproof coffee taste test. Because do I really fancy like butter whizzed with milk? Really? Anyway, apparently it's very good. So, back to the subject at hand, which this week, what I'm going to cover, when I say this week, sorry, it's been a bit of a delay, you know, it's been Christmas, busy, that sort of thing, gastroenteritis, yeah, lovely. Anyway, yes, what we're covering is workouts, structural workouts on turbo trainers. So, it's winter here in the UK, it's pretty rubbish, actually today it's probably a really nice day for going out on the road, but anyway, it's pretty rubbish weather. Sitting in the garage, as you know, I'm a great fan of turbo training on my Cyclops Power Beam Pro, which is sometimes problematic, but anyway. And what I'll talk about is workouts on what is arguably the top platform at the moment for structural workouts on a turbo trainer, which is Zwift. So I'll use that, but you can apply all these things to any platform that you use, or even just a straight normal turbo trainer. And excuse our clock in the background, a normal turbo trainer that you're going to be just using. But the key thing is start with the end in mind. If you're going to do a workout and you're going to do 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, have a plan of what you're going to do. This is where it really helps if you use Zwift, Trainer Road, virtual training, because what those programs do are to set you something specific to do for that workout, or even a Sufferfest video, of course. But it'll give you something in mind. So what I would say is these some key rules, and we're going to cover these key rules. I'm not going to do a 1 to 10 because I think 1 to 10s are boring because people just end up stuffing all sorts of ridiculous things in just to make it up to 10. Key things. So Owen's tip number 1 is, first of all, plan out that workout, what you're going to do. For example, if you're going to do 10 times 1 minute intervals at maximum effort with 1 minute pedaling away, easy in between, with a 10-minute warm-up and a 10-minute cool-down. Brilliant. Just have that in mind before you even start. So that's your key thing, what you're going to get out of that workout. Number 2 is making time for that workout. What I would say is it's very easy to keep thinking, I will get that session done today at some point. Life just gets in the way, work gets in the way, family time, all those important things you need to fix in the day, and before you know it, you've run out of time, you haven't got time. So if you're really dedicated, key thing to do is just to get up super early and get the workout done. So if it means getting out of bed at 5 o'clock, if it's important enough for you to do that session, is to get up at 5 o'clock, do what you would normally do, and then get on the bike. I know it's hard first thing in the morning, but at least you get it done. So that's making the time for it. The third thing is do not disturb. What I mean by that is you've got to make it clear to people that are around you that you're going to be doing a session and you don't really want to be bothered, because you lose focus and you lose concentration. Now, a key thing I've noticed, particularly if you use something like Zwift, which is very much a social effort, if you're looking at the bubbles that are appearing where people are messaging each other on Zwift, there's a lot of traffic about people, my cat's just pouring with spokes. Probably I've never seen that one, but you can imagine. My daughter's just switched off all the electricity in the house. You've gained all these sort of things. Oh, my wife's driving me mad, she wants me to take her shopping. There's loads of stuff that comes up. Just say, look, I'm going to be on from this time till this time. Get everything done that needs to be done before then, so you've got time to get on there, and just get it done. Then you don't get disturbed. If it means locking yourself in a room, if that's what you have to do, just do it. I train with my garage door open, and quite often I live in a village and people are pretty friendly up here. People walk past, and some people, one person in particular, tends to want a conversation about Leicester Tigers or something as I'm training away. What you've got to do is try not to give those people eye contact unless you're just doing an easy level 1, level 2 ride, and then you don't really matter. But if you're doing an interval session, you've got to really focus. So what I'm also going to do in the video as well is to take you through some of the workout sessions. So I'll use Zwift because, as I say, arguably it is the best platform for doing structural workouts, and I'll show you what to do on Zwift, or you could use Trainer Road, or you could use virtual training or wherever, just to make sure that you know what's coming up. That's another thing as well. Number 4, know what's coming up in your session. So you've planned your session, you know about the workout you're going to do it for an hour and a half, wherever you've got an idea of the plan, if it's a plan you're setting down or a Sufferfest video you're going to do. And then 2, you're making time for your training, and 3, you're doing your do not disturb. The 4th thing is know the plan in detail, somewhat linked to number 1. But what I mean by this, if you're using a structured workout that you're choosing, that you can do on Trainer Road, that you can do on Zwift, that you can do on virtual training or other programs, it can be a surprise, particularly if you're using a smart trainer. Because what I mean by that is, on a smart trainer, for example, it will control, using ergo mode, it will control your power. For example, let's say you're going to do a 300 watt interval for 3 minutes, and then it's going to drop down to 200 watts. Now you need to know to expect that, so you don't let off the pedalling straight away, because if you let the pedalling off straight away and you're in ergo mode and it ramps it to 200 watts, 200 watts normally might not be that difficult, but it'll feel like somebody's put massive brakes on your legs, because what you've got to do is overcome your cadence, get your cadence back up again to overcome that wattage on ergo mode. So you've got to know all those intricacies, and what I'll do is I'll show you on workout mode on Zwift to show you how to break down a session, study the session before you start, so you're totally and utterly focused. So let us go into that next.
Right, all about being focused, as I said already. Now, you'll roll to a stop on Zwift, or bottom left hand corner you can see that arrow, double click it twice, click on settings on the right, and what you need to do now is to, where it says show group chat at the bottom of the settings page, click hide. You do not want, I stress, do not want messages, group messages coming up when you're doing a workout. It's completely and utterly distracting. So that is essential you get that off there. You want to be in your zone. If they pop up, they're going to drive you mad. Now you're also going to know your workout before you start a workout, and this could be the day before or an hour before your workout, but not at the time. I'm using Zwift here, go into the workout editor, pressing E on the screen, go in, and you can do this when you're just in fan view mode the day before. You don't have to be connected up to your smart trainer. Go into that workout. For example, this is one in Hunter's 28-day challenge. Read up what the workout wants you to achieve. Go into it in some detail, and you can even load it up as if you're going to ride, even if you're not connected, and you can see on the left hand side what the workout will do. This helps you to really prepare for it and know what's coming up, not to have any surprises. And so when you do it, and just another tip here, if you're underperforming the power output, still do it, get that workout done and really focused. Gear yourself up for it, know what's coming, rev yourself up with that gorilla call or whatever, and just get it done and get through it. But you'll only be able to do that if you read about that workout before you start.
So number 5, you may be wondering what number 5 is, and it's about state of mind. When you start a session, particularly if it's going to be a hard session, you've got to get your mind totally right. So what have you done? You've made time, you've made the expectations of your family right, so you know it's a do not disturb situation. You know all about the workout you're going to do, and you're really focused on doing that workout and getting the best out of it. You've got the end in mind before you start. Now what you're going to do is get yourself riled up for it. And I've got this tip, I think it's a fantastic tip from the amazing Graham Overy. If you get a chance to nip onto Amazon and to order his training manual, it's a brilliant read. But tip from Graham, and this really works for me, since putting his coffee down, is just to sort of find the inner animal. So you're just about to start an interval, so you've done your 10-15 minute workout, warm up, whichever way you've done your warm up. Let's say you've gone from 150 watts and you've pulled it up to 230, then you've done a couple of quick sprints and you're about to start that first really solid interval. It's just bring out the inner animal, just go something, or even better than that, and then really pump yourself up and start the interval, and do that before every interval. So you go through your little recovery period, might be a minute, 3 minutes, wherever the session is, and then go for it again, and just really focus and rile yourself and wind yourself up for it, because that really works. Tips from Graham, he puts Albus oil in the end of his nose, or Vic and stuff. I've tried all that sort of stuff. For that, it doesn't work for me. I just keep smelling Albus all the time. It reminds me of everybody in the house having colds, so I don't do that. But that's another tip that works. Something else you need to think about as well is your feeding before the session. This is in number 6. So you don't really want to have a full stomach. I know sometimes we're all strapped for time. We have dinner with the family or whatever, and you think, oh, I've got to go get a session in, and you've got walk the dog or whatever and do a bit of other stuff, and you get an hour later you're on the bike. You can't really do a brilliant session because you've still got food in your stomach, there's blood around there, it isn't going all to your muscles, and you feel a bit laggy. So ideally 2 to 3 hours, you're fairly fasted, you get on your bike. Some research is suggesting now that if you've just had protein, for example, an omelette or something like that, in the preceding hours before a workout, it does have benefits for most athletes. And there's some stuff about altering your mitochondria, making your endurance systems more effective, and all that sort of stuff. And I'm sure you can go off and read that, and maybe in one of these in the future we'll get an expert to talk about that. But I always say that's something you can do. A key thing is making sure you haven't got a full stomach before you start. Also, if you're doing a turbo training session, do you really need to refuel during the session? Water with a bit of salt in is all I have quite often. I do really like Ribena. I'm not going to buy energy drinks, to be honest. I think, honestly, it's just a waste of money. Ribena, 10% solution with a bit of salt if you're doing a particularly long one, for example, 50 kilometers, an hour and a half or something like that on the turbo. Works for me. Do I do anything else? Do I take anything on board? No, nothing whatsoever. I don't have any carbs or anything like that other than what's there. Would I take gels? Honestly, waste of money. You can buy a banana. A banana is real food. It's got a natural packaging. It's not got funny stuff in there, sodium benzoate or whatever it's called. None of that nasty stuff. It's just a natural thing. So if you really must have stuff like that, just have real food. But you don't really need that much if you're just doing an hour session, say an hour and a half. Now, if you're going for one of these crazy Zwift 100 Ks, 100 miles or even longer that some people do, which is awesome, then you need to refuel. But you're sitting on a turbo trainer in your house, garage or wherever, you can just take on easy to eat food. And there is some evidence that suggests, for example, dried fruit with sufficient fluids is just, if not more effective than gels. So that's it. Hopefully that's of great use to you. Thanks ever so much for watching this, and look forward to you watching the next one. And give me subscribe, likes, suggestions, comments, and just a future flag on this next video. I'm hoping to get on Professor Andy Lane, one of the world's top sports psychologists, to give some more tips about getting the most out of your workouts. All right, thanks ever so much. See you soon. Bye.